And we are live again for another edition of the Multifamily Investor Nation Summit Speaker Intro Series. With us right now is Amy Wan with Bootstrap Legal. Amy, welcome.
Thanks. Thanks so much for having me.
Well, Amy, I want you to get us started because I've been kind of seeing you in a couple of different places. I know kind of in the green room you were asking me, how did you first hear about me? I couldn't really put a finger on it, but I've been hearing you in several different places, different podcasts and events and things like that. Talk to us a little bit about, you and your background as it relates to the multifamily space.
Yeah, sure. So I really got my start in this industry. It was when the first accredited crowdfunding rules came out. So that would have been, or actually became effective. So that would have been back in 2013, 2014. At the time, I was general counsel of a real estate crowdfunding startup. And so all we ever talked about was how do we raise capital, and how does the littler real estate investor raise capital, right? So I spent a couple years there. I then went on to become a partner at a boutique real estate law firm. And really, probably 90% of our business was in the real estate fund, real estate syndication space, most of which is usually in multifamily. But, as I was sitting there just writing these documents over and over and over again, I was like, wait, I think there's a better way to do this, right? And really it came down to two problems. One is every client calls Friday at 4:30 and they want something immediately, right? So there goes your weekend. So I wanted things to be done more efficiently. And secondly, I had a friend who was starting off with real estate syndication come and say, hey, I want to raise $300,000. How much is it going to cost? And I said, okay, well, I can tell you the price and I'm not going to be offended if you don't use me because I know that it's the transactional cost just isn't worth it, right? And so I told him the price, and of course he didn't structure it as a syndication. So I thought there had to be a better way to do this, and so I basically cobbled together some very just basic AI technology. A lot of it is just document automation, right? I copyrighted 20 years of real estate syndication documents, parsed out all the logic, and that's basically what became Bootstrap Legal. So we are, half technology and half legal. Basically, because we use technology to semi-automate the first draft, it cuts about 20 hours off of every single deal, and so we're able to do things a little bit more inexpensive, but also turn things around much faster for multifamily syndicators. Because, when you have something under contract, you don't want your attorney to sit there and be working on the docs for like a month, right? You want them as soon as possible so you can go and start, getting people to sign and get funds in. And I think that's just really important from the business side. So that is me and that's what I do.
Well, that's awesome. And I knew kind of a little bit of bits and pieces about it. It's great to kind of see the whole picture of, how you kind of got started to where you are now. What are you going to be speaking on and sharing at the event?
Yes. So I am going to talk about the top 5 things real estate syndicators need to know. I get lots of calls on a daily basis, especially from, more, I would say beginners who they're trying to go and do their first syndication, right? And oftentimes there's a lot of misconception, not just around structuring the deal or legal, but a lot of people come to me and say, hey, I want to crowdfund my first deal. I'm like, no. That's not what we do, right? In all of this, yes, legal plays an important part, but so much of this is strategy, right? And so when you're structuring your offering, when you're deciding, oh, how long do I do this for? When you're figuring out who do I target, who like, am I going to crowdfund this? Am I going to go to friends and family? All of that is strategy. So I'm going to talk about, the questions I get asked on a daily basis that, I think a lot of people have misconceptions about, and just make sure that everyone's on the right page in terms of how to start out.
And I'm sure that probably will save you lots of time even after the event when people reach out to you and contact you, because you're going to answer a lot of those questions that they have right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome. Well, why do you feel like it's important for somebody to attend an event like this?
Oh my gosh. I feel like this is just the real estate industry especially, right? Everything is about networking, everything is about relationships, but it's also a lot about education, right? You have real estate investors that are immensely successful, and then real estate investors who they just never really get off the ground, right? And so I really honestly think that there's a couple determining factors of what makes someone successful. And that's constant education, it is relationships, it's grit and hustle. All those things come together. And so I think Multifamily Investor Nation is such a great forum for folks really trying to get into this.
And you actually have a special promo code that you can give out as well for anybody who's listening that maybe they've been on the fence and thinking about it, but giving them an extra $100 off the ticket. So do you remember your promo code there?
Yes, of course. It's just one word. It's Bootstrap.
That's great because, if somebody sits down there and writes down Bootstrap, now they'll have the name of your company too.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Well, Amy, thank you so much for taking some time this afternoon to be here. Looking forward to having you at the event in June. And for those of you who are watching, looking forward to having you at the next Multifamily Investor Nation Summit. Thank you so much, Amy.
All right.